With the first pick, with the 27th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select.
Hello.
This guy's a homewrecker. You try to run away from him, he runs you down, you can't run at him. He's a special football player. Two things they know, it's a quarterback league and it's a league of freaks. This guy's a freak.
That's a good young nucleus they have now on that Jacksonville defense added with Josh Allen, Charles.
What a night it was for the Jacksonville Jaguars in Las Vegas on Thursday night in round one. A pair of players coming back to DUUUVAL, the Bellagio Fountains. It's night number 2 of the draft. And here in Jacksonville, the celebration is underway. Trayvon Walker made the rounds today. We'll get to that coming up tonight. The Jaguars have a pair of third-round picks on the docket. And welcome into Draft Night in DUUUVAL on this Friday evening. JP Shadrick with you. Yes, the Jaguars made that trade late last night to get back in the first round for the 27th overall pick. Well, they gave up the 33rd pick, the first pick tonight in the second round to do that, so they have the second round off for now. The 65th overall pick and the 70th overall pick in the third round a little later tonight. Bucky Brooks, John Oesher with us, and here we go. Night number 2, Bucky.
Yeah, really exciting. This is when you really can make gains on your football team. Day 2 is important because the second and third round picks should be solid contributors, guys that vie for starting spots within a year. And so you want to make sure that you've done your homework to take advantage of any of the top players that tend to fall for whatever reason. And so this is one where you're looking at the board and you're putting yourself in a position to be nimble enough to go and get the blue chip players that sometimes fall.
This is Nerdy Scout Day is what it is. This is Nerdy Scout Day.
Tomorrow's Nerdy Scout
All
Day.
the amateurs are out after round 1, and now it's when my friend the scout can really get his teeth going into it.
A little bit.
You like that?
A little bit. I do like that. I do like that.
And the best case scenario today, JP?
Yes.
It seems what, 65 and 70? Mm-hmm. Is there a scenario where they can get up to about 45 for all of tomorrow's picks?
I'm sure there is. You know.
I mean, I talked to Trent. He's warm to it, so let's see what happens.
Let's see, indeed. Coming up, we'll get a little deeper into the 2 first-round picks for the Jaguars. Well, someone quite excited about those, and certainly the number 1 pick is defensive line coach Brenson Buckner, who's standing by with Ashlyn Sullivan right now. Ashlyn?
Thank you, JP. We are here with the best-dressed coach in the building right now, defensive line coach Brenson Buckner, and this defense got a lot better yesterday with 2 key pieces. How are your feelings overall about the draft?
Oh, we're feeling great. You know, get some guys, those 2 guys that can come in and help us and help build around the nucleus we already have. You know, it's a testament to our scouts and what Trent been doing and the guys that we targeted, we got a chance to get.
Mm-hmm. And I know you know Trayvon Walker from before he came to the Jaguars, close towns in Georgia. So tell me a little bit more about him.
Well, Trayvon is just a good kid. You know, mom and dad did a tremendous job raising him. You know, he's very humble. He works hard. He takes nothing for granted. You know, here's a kid that's been a 5-star athlete everywhere he's been. But if you see him work and you talk to him, you would think he was the last person on the team. And that's what he's going to bring. You know, just work hard. Nothing is too big for him. You see him last night, first pick overall in the draft. Not a smile, not a jump, not nothing, because he knows it comes from his hard work. And so what Jacksonville, what we're going to get a humble person who's willing to work hard, do whatever it takes to help his team win. As you saw at Georgia, playing multiple positions. Now he's going to be at a point where he can play one position and just be him. It's going to be special.
Yeah, and you mentioned that one position. Where do you see him fitting? Because he has so much versatility. Where do you think he fits best?
He's going to be an outside linebacker in our defense. You know, with him and Josh being opposite one another, give us 2 big athletic bookends coming off the edge, setting the edge, being physical in the run game, and now getting a chance to maximize his athletic ability.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at this front 7 all of a sudden, and you see the additions, Fole Fatukasi, one of them in free agency. You look at this front 7 and you think, all right, these are some big names, and this front 7's looking pretty good right now.
Yes, we are on paper. We're looking good, you know, doing a good job of putting this team together. Now, the important part now is building the chemistry, everybody getting on the same page, learning to love one another and respect each other's job. And, you know, we got a long way to go, but we got some good pieces to get there.
Yeah, and Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson with these 2 new additions last night, they kept saying culture setters. What do you want the culture of this defensive line and this defense to be?
Man, this culture is going to be physical, tough. when you step on the field, our reputation should precede us. Like, we know what this game is finna be. We want guys to be physically strong, mentally strong, emotionally strong, but they go out there and they work together as a unit. Because when one is weak, others have to be strong. So we just want that reputation that we're gonna be some dogs and we're hunting every snap and get back to getting the DUUUVAL rocking.
Love that. All right, what are we thinking for tonight? You dress like another defensive line piece is coming here sometime soon, you think?
I don't know, whatever the team needs for us to come right now, they've done a good job, Trent and Doug and them, identifying what we really need. So whether it's a wide receiver, offensive lineman, when we get him, he belongs to all of us.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, JP.
All right, Ashlyn, thank you very much. I could listen to Brinson Buckner talk all night long, yes.
We know what this is fixing to be.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be fun, I think, to have these guys in that room with him. John, here he comes. I mean, Trayvon Walker, outside linebacker. That's the pick at number 1, and they're going to focus him in one spot.
Well, I've got some thoughts we'll get into in a minute on him, but what stood out to me that Brinson Buckner just talked about, and I want to get Bucky's thoughts on this, the culture fit and the fact that a 5-star recruit doesn't behave like a 5-star recruit and how he'll fit into the locker room. There's a lot of times I hear that sort of thing, and having written sports for 25, 26 years, it sort of glazes over for me a little bit. I want to see on-field production. But there's something to that at this moment for this franchise, for Brinson Buckner to go there first and talk about what a good kid he's going to be. This is going to be a guy that coaches, everybody in the building likes seeing come in the door, right, Bucky?
Yeah, no, I think it's really important when Brinson is talking about like cultural fit. Guy, humble, hardworking, comes in. In scouting terms, we talk about ideally what you would like is a blue chip talent with a blue collar mentality. Someone who is extremely talented, but they work like an overachiever. And so if he has those traits and if he's able to kind of blend in with the rest of the team, it's really outstanding. And then
especially building, right? Like right now when you're trying to put something together.
Because these are the formative years. These are formative years for Doug Peterson and the program. And as they talk about being tough and physical and having a reputation that precedes playing the team, I mean, that's what everyone wants to hear, because we can talk about the defense being nasty, but ideally what you want is a team that when people line up and they see them on the schedule, they know that it's going to be a physical affair for 60 minutes.
Yeah, JP, I don't know that this team – I know that Doug has talked, and he's been very consistent, Doug Peterson, since he got here, about liking this defensive line. And he said it in the intro press conference, he said it at the Combine. I believe that he likes the attitude of this defensive line and the defensive front seven. But I don't know that until yesterday, when I thought of this front seven, I thought of it as potentially dominant and physical. I know they wanted to be. They were at times last year, but they weren't all the time. It just feels to me like they really, I talked about it last night a lot. They really have a chance to change the identity with those with what happened yesterday. And again, I didn't think of him that way. Today, I think of him a little more that way than I did Thursday morning. I
think it's funny because before we became on live, you talked about like the Eagles teams and the Peterson, and you talked about how the defense probably was underrated, but was one of the top defenses when they won the Super Bowl. Well, when you think about the Jaguars, and when the Jaguars have been at their best, it's because the defense has really led the way. And so even though we think about Doug Peterson and we are excited about the offensive potential and what this team could be, if you go back throughout the annals, when this franchise has been good, it's because the defense has played a certain way. There's been a certain air and aura around the team with the physicality. Even going back to 2017, it was about Jacksonville, it was about the defense, it was about physicality and toughness. That has to be the hallmarks of the program. And I think what you have is enough people and players and coaches that kind of understand that, and I think they'll play to that.
Trayvon Walker selected last night. He was in Atlanta for the pick and then got on the private jet today. And he was on Good Morning America today and bright and early, and then hopped on the jet, flew over the Okefenokee, and arrived in Jacksonville, Florida a little later this morning. Made the rounds at TIAA Bank Field, took the tour, met Shad Khan, Jaguars owner, met him right outside of the gates of the stadium and escorted him and his family around today. Doug Peterson, of course, Trent Baalke, the coaching staff, all got a chance to get their first in-person contact as a Jaguar. And then, of course, He met the media this afternoon for the first time in Jacksonville, Florida, and he's excited to narrow that position down.
Didn't really know until right before the draft, just like everybody else, but I had a pretty good idea. And just to all the people that say that I can't pass rush or do whatever, wasn't as productive at Georgia. I've never really just played one position consistently. So I feel like I'll be able to grow as a player once I just focus on one main position.
Now, that one main position, as you heard Brinson Buckner say, is outside linebacker, and that was part of his real greatness at Georgia, was that flexibility and ability to perform in those different positions. But it's the NFL. Specialized positions are not a bad thing, Bucky.
No, specialized positions are not a bad thing. And we had talked about it. A lot of the intrigue and concern potentially about Trayvon Walker is where is he going to line up? Because a lot of times when you take someone, and Bill Poland used to talk about it, you don't take projections at the top of the board because you have to have a plan for how you're going to get maximum production out of the player. And so to hear him say that they're going to put him at outside linebacker, I think that's great. The other thing that comes along with that, now you have Josh Allen, you have Trayvon Walker. You talk about this division. Physically, you have a bigger team, bigger set of bookends to set the edge against the run game. That matters because you have to earn the right to rush the passer. So his physicality and toughness on the edge will be a huge asset.
Yeah, if Jaguars fans have seen anything in the last since 17, really, they have not given themselves enough of a chance to rush the passer. It's why their pass rush numbers have been so down. I talk about it all the time, and it can get lost when you don't have sack numbers. Usually, down sack numbers usually come from not being able to stop the run because you don't get opportunities. Mm-hmm. JP, you probably remember this, and this doesn't prove that Trayvon Walker's a great pass rusher. I know he has to develop pass rushing techniques. He has to learn how to use his hands better. 3rd and 10, down 8 against Alabama, or Alabama's down 8.
Yeah.
Georgia's on defense. Georgia's great defense, 5 first-round picks. Mm-hmm. I watched this play today just out of curiosity. Who got double-teamed?
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker.
Right, that's right.
So 6.5 sacks, again, maybe he should have had 10, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I didn't watch all of Georgia's games, but I can't believe Bama was the only school that by the end of the year was double-teaming this kid on big plays. So we'll see, but I know he's doubled that play because I watched it. I have YouTube, JP.
Well done. Thanks for doing the research today. Trayvon Walker, the pick at number 1. Well, everybody might have thought it was over. The draft party concluded. Everybody went home from Daly's place, but Trader Trent struck again, and he traded 3 picks to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to move up to number 27 overall to select Devin Lloyd, the linebacker out of Utah, 2-time Butkus Award finalist. Last season, a first-team All-American and the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. This guy's all around the football, and Brian Sexton in Las Vegas had the first word with him after the selection. He recalled the reaction when he found out he was coming to DUUUVAL.
First off, relief, knowing that my name got called, and I know where I'm going now, and just excitement and joy. From what I do know about Jacksonville, I know they're a program on the come up, and really, I'm excited to be a part of this organization and, everything that, we're going to build there. I know it's going to be special, and I can't wait to get out there.
You had an opportunity to go pro last year. You passed it up. Come back, you're an All-American. And now, was it worth the wait?
Everything happens for a reason, and I accomplished everything I wanted and more when I went back. So, yes, I'm going to say it was worth the wait. And, I think even though, obviously, you want to go a little bit earlier in the draft, I'm at the right spot. God sent me here, and I'm excited to be a Jag. And, shoot, I'm just ready, man. Let's get to work.
Let's get to work indeed. Bucky Brooks, you are all about this selection of Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, I'm all about it because he fills a couple different roles. He's a guy that's an off-the-ball linebacker with outstanding sideline-to-sideline playmaking ability, very instinctive and aware in coverage. You'll see him make plays all over the field. He is also an A-plus blitzer, meaning when you see this guy lined up and going and hunting and attacking the quarterback, he finds a way to get home. Very disruptive. And so when we think about this defense, you want to be a disruptive defense, you have to kind of assemble and acquire enough guys who have disruptive traits to get it done. This is a guy that should be a huge big play weapon on defense.
When a guy gets drafted late like Devin Brooks, and I'm calling him Devin Brooks because I think they're related. They like each other so much, these guys. When a guy gets drafted late like he did, it can get lost in the next day's coverage. The more I thought about this kid today, they may have drafted the next rock star in this town. I get that Trevor's going to be the face of the franchise. The kid's personality, his confidence, his maturity, the DUUUVAL last night with Melissa Stark. I mean, there's football things. We'll talk about this guy to death. You talk about a guy who clearly wants to be here, who the fans are going to embrace. This kid is so unbelievably likable and will fit in for this fan base. A fun pick. And again, I have YouTube, so I watched a little bit of him today. And the way he jumps off the page, I was intrigued from the start because, as I said on our podcast last night, Bucky's fondness of this player did not start when he was drafted last night. We did a story on edge defenders and linebackers for our coverage. And one of Bucky's tasks was to write Bucky's best. Out of all the edge defenders and linebackers, he wrote about Lloyd. So this is a rock star in terms of production. And I get that he dropped probably because he's a linebacker. You don't take linebackers high. But this may be one. I forget where Derek Brooks, another, Brooks. I think he was drafted 26th, 27th by the Bucs after they drafted Warren Sapp. I think it was the same year, if I'm not mistaken.
It might have been, yeah.
Feels kind of similar. This could be a similar story where you don't really think about Lloyd that much. Could he be the guy who's a multi-Pro Bowler out of this bunch? I think both of them can. Sapp was too. But this is a pick, I think, that can change this defense's face.
He's a dynamic player. And you think about the multiplicity that they want to use on defense. They want to come after you. They want to use pressure to answer all of their problems. And this is a player that certainly can do it. When you talk about someone who can stuff the stat sheet, tackles for losses, sacks, PBUs, interceptions, he fills all those categories. And I just go back to listening to Buckner talk about the physicality and toughness and those things.
That's what this kid is, right?
It just strikes me as, this is going to be a defense that absolutely gets after you. I don't know how complex it will be, but I know at the end of the day they're going to solve it with trying to knock you out.
And the best DUUUVAL in years, right?
It was fantastic. He stole the mic from her, basically. It was awesome. It was great. Of course, picked the commissioner up, almost, gave him a chiropractic thing.
That's fun. I mean, at the end of the day, we talk football all the time. That's what makes the draft fun, and that was a really fun moment.
Let's get to tonight. What's on the docket for the Jaguars this evening? At least tonight, 2 third-round picks, the 65th and the 70th overall selections. Tomorrow, the remaining picks. We'll see how many. Do they package and move up? What do you think? What do you want? What do you think tonight?
What do I want? I want them to trade out of the.
Thank you, John.
Trade out of day 3.
Bucky, what do you want out of tonight?
Well, there's some validity to what John is saying. You see 3 6-round picks and 2 7s. If there's a player that falls in range at the bottom of the 3rd round, that is a good player, a player that can come on, hey man, auction all those little things off.
Well, as much as I kid, I think that's why Trent does that. I mean, he didn't get 12 picks, which he accumulated mostly from last year's draft. He didn't get those thinking he was going to draft 12 players this year. You get him so that you have some equity to go do what they did last night. And Trader Trent.
We'll see if he strikes again tonight. He certainly did last night.
I wonder if
running
running
backs,
round. As we get out of here.
Yeah.
I wonder if running back's out on the table at some point, either tonight or early tomorrow, because of the injury situation. So I'm kind of looking at running back in the 3rd round.
Big back, if it's going to be a big physical back, like a kid from Alabama like Brian Robinson Jr., someone that can run. Tyler Algier from BYU, someone that is physical, that can run in between the tackles. Remember, Doug Peterson, when they were at their best, they rolled in a bunch of backs, different sizes, give different tools.
Well, I'm going back and reading Bucky Brooks' coverage.
We'll have to check it out on Jaguars.com. Free website. Bucky Brooks, John Oesher, Ashlyn Sullivan, our entire crew. Thank you for watching. Enjoy night 2 of the NFL Draft. I'm JP Shadrick, and this is Draft Night and DUUUVAL on Friday night.